In last week's video, we crossed the bay in 20-knot winds and arrived on an uninhabited island previously used as a prison. In the howling wind and fading light, we set up camp, but struggled to sleep with all the eerie noises. The next morning we awoke to much calmer conditions. You always sleep better when your jet ski is beached. The downside is you're stranded until the tide comes back in. But this gave me time to enjoy breakfast and then clean up and potter around camp. The key to enjoying camping is staying comfortable in your surrounds. When starting out beach camping, the first thing you realise is that sand gets everywhere, and this can be a real pain. Setting up on a mesh floor mat helps, but sand can still get through your tent and even into your sleeping bag. For this reason, I like freestanding tents. The frame is self-supporting, so you can simply pick them up and give them a good shake out. And while your tent's off the mesh floor mat, it's worth lifting one end of the mat so all the sand and debris falls off it too. It's much easier than taking a broom. When jet ski camping, there's always lots of wet togs, towels and life jackets to be dried out. A Pegless clothesline is awesome for this, and they are so easy to make. Check out my earlier video to learn how. When beach camping, you tend to be out in the sun a lot, and it's easy to get dehydrated. I try and take about 3 litres of drinking water per person per day. Rather than risk putting all your drinking water in one large jerry can, I prefer to use smaller 1.5 litre bottles. They're easier to store on the jet ski, and you can even freeze a few bottles and put them in your esky. They're also a good size for fitting in a day pack, or in the corner pocket of your tent during the night. I find the 1.5 litre bottles are also great for keeping track of your water usage. You simply allocate yourself 2 bottles a day, one for the morning and then one for the afternoon. For cleaning, I prefer not to waste drinking water and instead scrub things clean along the shoreline using the sand and seawater. By now, the tide had come in, so I decided to take a better look at the Shipwreck located just off the beach. The wreck is an old steam-powered bucket dredge built in Scotland in 1883. The 57-metre vessel was sailed out to Australia the following year and spent many years operating in North Queensland. It was deliberately sunk in 1926 to act as a breakwater for the stone jetty. Hey, while we're here, if you're enjoying the video, please click subscribe. It's totally free and helps grow the channel. Thanks for your support. During the middle of the day, it's great to have a shady campsite to get out of the sun. If you can squeeze them in, a small table and chair make camp life much more comfortable. Wraps are a great alternative to bread when you are camping. They have a long expiry and don't take up much space. And unlike a loaf of bread, they can't be squashed. You just throw all your toppings on and roll them up. After lunch, I was ready to explore again. The jet ski was once again grounded, so I decided to take a walk around the headland instead.
Doesn't get any better than this.
After traipsing through the mangroves and seaweed, the long sandy beach on the other side was a nice surprise.
Just walking along this prison island. Makes me think of all the lepers and the prisoners. Starting to run out of daylight, so I might turn around up here. Gonna head back now. Hopefully the jet ski is still there. Must be over 30 boats anchored here off the bay. All this seaweed really smells. I don't think the prisoners would have spent much time down here. Back on the sand's a lot nicer. Oh, should have worn shoes.
Join us next week as we retrieve our jet ski and help a stranded boatie before packing up and heading home. Thanks for joining me today. Hang in there and I'll see you next time.